Hello Magical Human, and welcome back to Madison Mindset, the podcast. Welcome, you are joining me in this little rock area. We're watching the sunset. See if I can get it this way. If you're watching the video, you're seeing the video. If not, you can listen and trust me. It's a beautiful spot. Lovely spot. And I'm just going to hang out here with the plants, with the rocks, with the sun, and record a podcast for you. I wanted to talk about a topic that really gets me, and hopefully it'll help you. Maybe you feel the same, I don't know. Something that is a big problem with social media, a big problem, is that everyone can just share anything. Anyone can say anything. They can say their opinion. They can call themselves an expert. They can call something scientific. They can, say all these things. And it's hard to differentiate between who is telling the truth and who actually knows and who's got some level of delusion or not completely seeing the truth clearly. Because we know that the human mind is very clever. It's very clever. And when you look at your algorithm, what your mind clings to is typically what you get on your feed. The things that you believe in, the things that you want to see on a subconscious level, the things that you're scared of, those are the things that will hit your algorithm. So for me, I have definitely gone through phases where my algorithm has been really negative because I'm very wired to being anxious. I've practiced my whole life. I'm very good at it. I'm working on being not good at it, but it's just where I naturally go. So if I see something that goes, 10 reasons why broccoli is a really dangerous vegetable to eat, I'm immediately like, oh my goodness, what's going on? But it's broccoli. You know what I mean? But it still gets in my head. So because I pause on it, I watch it, the algorithm's like, she loves this. So I get more of things like that. So you see I get a lot of health stuff and a lot of different opinions. And what's funny is there's a lot of contradicting opinions, which kind of makes the point that no one knows what they're talking about. Everyone is biased in some way. Everyone has their own opinions, their own thoughts, and everyone has their own set algorithm. And I encourage you to practice with that. Like, you can literally train your algorithm to do anything. Instead of it using you, you use it. Pick a topic, any topic. For me, I chose old comedy, old school comedy. I think it's so funny. It was so unfiltered and everyone just said what they wanted to say. It was hilarious. But I chose that. And I just started watching it. And I'd pay more attention to it. And I'd search it up in the bar. And I'd interact with it. And now that's all I get. But a couple of weeks ago, I was getting things about health scares and things like that. So you literally train your algorithm to literally do whatever it is that you want it to do. But a lot of us are doing that subconsciously. We don't actually realize that we're training the algorithm. So this is one of the biggest issues for me, and it's caused me a lot of mental harm. And I know it's caused a lot of other people mental harm, because you've either got people with really strong opinions hitting your feed, and then you get people with strong opinions in the comments, either agreeing or disagreeing. There's arguing, all these things, further confusing people. And then you've got people selling you something. And what's really bad is that people will use a fear thing to sell you something. For example, 10 reasons why broccoli is really bad to eat, really dangerous. They'll go through the 10 reasons and then they'll say, but if you have eaten broccoli, don't worry. I've got a magic cure. Comment whatever, and I'll send you the link. And everyone's doing that. Everyone's doing the comment this, comment that. I'm never going to do that. I'm not interested in that. And I don't like the salesy thing. And a lot of people, especially, I've been in business for a while. I've been in business for 6 years, and I've gone through different business coaching and different things. I've been around different people and around different opinions. And I've definitely gone through the era, whatever. ERA is what I'm trying to say. I've gone through that period of literally feeling like I have to sell, and I have to show people my worst moments and, be vulnerable and authentic and all of that rubbish, and you might say be vulnerable and authentic. That's rubbish. It's not rubbish, but I'm saying that if you're crying genuinely in your life and your response is to turn on the camera, that's a serious problem. Why would that be your first response? Imagine if you were crying and your friend's first response was to film you because it's authentic for the gram. It's sick. There's something not okay with that. And then people use your fear in order to capture your attention, in order to make money from you. While I am a business, I am not a business. I have a business and I work on my business. And while you do need to make money inside a business, I have never pushed, never forced, and I don't like being salesy. I'm not going to be salesy because for me, what I'm trying to promote is wellness and clear seeing and clarity of mind and peace of mind. And my ultimate goal would be to get everyone off Instagram and back into nature, back into cool caves with views, That would be my ultimate goal. I don't want to scare you into purchasing something because ultimately there are so many things to fear, but there's nothing to fear. In fact, I've spent so much time thinking about fear that I actually think that there is so much to fear that there's no point fearing. You know what I mean? I mean, look at this little dome that I'm in. Okay, there's a rock right above my head. Do you not think as soon as I stepped in here, I'm like, is this going to fall on my head? I don't really have anywhere to go if the rock does move. I'm pretty crushed if it does fall. But what's the point? I mean, I've sat here before. The rock's been here a long time. What's the chances it's going to fall? It could fall. Or I could have a really beautiful afternoon. I could get back up to the street and get hit by a bus. Who knows? Could have a heart attack in the next minute. Anything could happen. There's so much. There's so much that you could spend your time being scared of. And I'm no stranger to that. I've done that. But because I've done that so much, and I've gone through the journey of being terrified, then being anxious about what I'm scared about, then being anxious about it and terrified, then making a decision and struggling to make a decision, then going, did I make the wrong decision? Being anxious about that, and I've been there. I can tell you it doesn't work. It's much better to adopt the Labrador mindset. Labrador is a type of dog. If you've not known a Labrador, research them. I've owned several Labradors. I've owned several Labradors over the years, my childhood years, and there's something so beautiful about them. And my family would often have this little joke, to just have the mind of a Labrador because they're so oblivious to everything. They're not the brightest dogs, right? They don't actually know what's going on. My dog, when she was really old, she couldn't even stand up. She was at the end of her life, couldn't even stand up. And it's like she didn't even notice. She was so happy, smiling, panting, having a good old time, hanging out with everyone. It's like she didn't even notice, and then she, went to the toilet on herself. It's like she didn't even notice. She was not concerned at all. Her personality didn't change. She was just her optimistic, la-di-da self. So I think to some degree, I'm not saying become oblivious to everything. I'm saying we have to have a healthy balance. There's a healthy balance in between being aware of all the things to be scared about and just living your life. Because there's a very small chance that this rock will fall on my head right now. There's a very small chance that you get hit by a bus when you go out to the street. Is there a chance? Yes. Is it a big chance? No. You can't spend your time worried about the small chance that something might happen. Because there's also a very big chance that you'll get to the end of your life and go, man, I was just worried about all the small chance things and now I'm, 95 and nothing happened. There's a very big chance you'll end up there as well. So really, there's not much point. So to some level, you have to develop some level of, I'm aware of what's going on, but I'm just going to enjoy my life. I'm aware that that's happening, but I'm just going to do my thing. You have to be able to do it, to adopt some level of, this is scary. Oh well. If you can do something about it, great. But so many times you can't do anything about it. And what I've found is, you spend more and more time worried about something. You focus on it so much. You give it so much of your energy. What is that? That's manifesting. That's manifesting. We don't want that. So let's bring this back to the problem with social media. Anyone can say their opinion. Anyone can morph information. Anyone can take something that somebody said and turn it into something else. And a lot of people are doing it for their own gain, whether it's financial gain or status gain or followers gain. They're usually doing it for a gain in some level. And I want you to become really good at sussing out who has your back on social media and who doesn't. If anyone's telling you to comment below, be mindful. Sometimes it's helpful. Sometimes the person might be saying, I have a beautiful yoga retreat you can come on. If you would like the details sent straight to you, just comment this below and I'll get on that for you. That's kind of nice. I like that. Saves me going to the link in bio. Awesome. But automation is something I'm not a huge fan of. Right? The sun's setting and it's really beautiful. It's happening. It's gorgeous. You probably see it in my face anyway. So yeah, it's automation is not great. Use of AI isn't great. Have I used AI? Yes. Mainly to re-script emails that my brain is not writing correctly. But I've never used it to create posts and to tell me how to sell something. I've never used it for that. I've never used it for automation because I'm in a business where I want to connect with people and I want people to see me for who I am and I want to see others for who they are. It is not right to be using automation or using any kind of AI because AI can be misleading and AI doesn't know what it's like to be human. So we're not doing that, right? We're not doing that. We're not using AI. And we're not using automation. Hire a team if you need help. AI is free. Yeah, but what about all the people in the world that need jobs? We need to support that. You got to look at what you're voting for. Remember that episode I did about every action you take is a vote? Go back to that one. Are you going to vote for a robot uprising or are you going to vote for supporting others? The sun's just gone down. Sort of. How beautiful. Look at this cave. Oh, I'm so happy I moved. Anyway, you've got to be careful and you've got to be mindful. And we've got to understand that we're all learning. I got a DM today from a yoga student of mine and she said, I listened to a podcast episode from ages ago about earthing and you said you have an earthing mat. Can you recommend an earthing mat? And I literally wrote back and I was like, I actually don't recommend earthing mats anymore. New information. I don't recommend earthing mats anymore. They need more research. They may be doing more harm than good. Mainly because they're plugged into a power source and that's maybe zapping you in your sleep. So no, I can't recommend an earthing mat. We're all learning. So let's look at social media. How can you tell if someone has your best interest at heart? First of all, they share openly. They'll give you tips and support without making you buy anything or without offering you freebies or without trying to claim your email or do whatever it is. They'll offer on social media. They'll be themselves. Another thing is being mindful of people who are filming themselves in their most vulnerable moments, because that to me is not healthy. You may have your own opinion on that. I don't think it's healthy. Let's think of, there's a lot of family influences, right? Let's say there's a baby and the baby starts crying. And the influencer's response is to put on the camera to show everyone how they deal with their infant child crying. Is that good parenting? I'm just asking. My opinion may not be the same as your opinion, but to me, if your first response to my child is in distress, where's the camera? That indicates a mixed up set of priorities. This world's pretty mixed up in its set of priorities, so it makes sense that everyone's a little bit muddled in their brain. But is that the right thing to do? If you found out that your mother had done that to you, are you happy with that? You might be. I bet a lot of people aren't, though. I bet a lot of you are like, nope, that would be really bad if my mum did that. Yeah, okay. So why are we doing it to our babies? Okay, there's a lot to look at. So if you're crying or you're in your most vulnerable moment, is that something to film? Because your vulnerable moment, your tears, they trigger things in other people. My purpose is to make people feel joy, peace, harmony, sense of ease. That's what I'm trying to do. If I put up a video of me having a temper tantrum or crying or in my worst moments, do I have those? Yes. But I'm not going to put up a video of that because I care about you, because I care about my influence. that I have on people, and posting on social media is a serious thing. So please be mindful what you're consuming, what you're looking at, and if something is invoking a sense of fear or hurry, quick, or anything like that, and people are asking you to comment and all these things and they want something from you, just be mindful that you're in a place that offers everyone a place to make money, a place to promote who they are. Come back to what's real. Come back to what's real, stick with your logic, stick with your clear seeing, and be a little bit Labrador mind. Oh, broccoli could kill me. Oh, had heaps of that. Oh well, can't take that back. Be a little bit like, it'll be okay. If there's something I can do, great. If there's nothing you can do, Labrador mind. Helps massively. And from someone who has suffered a lot with anxiety, stress, fear, and overthinking, I can tell you it's incredibly useful. Thank you so much for being here with me, Magical Human, and for watching this beautiful sunset. It's officially gone. So beautiful. Thank you everyone for being here. Make sure you share, comment, share on your Instagram stories, and tag me at Madison_mindset. And I'll see you in the next episode. Love.